And Eddie, man, we were just here. Rick joining us this time. No Pat today. Rick, we gotta get your thoughts first, man. We didn't have a chance to hear from you yesterday. Reaction to that one last week or this weekend, I guess. We should say.
There were two thoughts of pros and cons in there. Going in, I was like, it's Saskatchewan. We are where we are. They're a pretty damn good team. I kind of assumed that, or left myself the opportunity to go, you know what, this might be kind of ugly, but I felt like our defense really stepped up, kept us in the game. And then it was just another facet of the team. Everybody pull on the rope. We had one facet out there not pulling on the rope, and we were down there to the last play. One of the last plays of the game, that close to tie it or win it. That close, but yet, so what?
I heard this analogy actually, and I was talking about it the other day when we were doing our post game recap, and just how the whole team, there's always just one facet, like Rick said. There's a position group, or be it the offense, defense. We know it's the offensive line. This past game, giving up 8 sacks. It's like my old 06 Toyota Camry, man. That thing didn't know me a damn thing. I rode it till it had over 500,000 clicks. It stopped turning over. But if it wasn't the oil, it was a flat tire that I had to constantly touch up. If it wasn't that, it was the cracked windshield. If it wasn't that, it was the brakes. Oh, back to the oil. So there's always something wrong. And that's kind of where we're at with this team. If we can get it to the point where we can just cruise here, for a few thousand clicks without any hassles, they might be all right.
This is the perfect analogy. That's like the best analogy I've ever heard, because exactly what you said, it can cruise for 1,000 clicks. Like it can, it can get you to point A to point B. Maybe even, you give a nice girl a ride. But it's still not a Lambo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's still not a Ferrari. It's still that 06 Camry. So that's these Elks right now. And yeah, I think I had some questions for today that we'll get into a little bit. But I think, because even here's what I'm curious about, where you come out on, even where you guys come out on, even playing with all position groups at their, top level of capability. Like, what do you think the ceiling is for the team?
Are we talking wins, losses, or are we talking?
Yeah, like wins, losses, and then, what the playoff exit might look like.
Okay, well, in reality, when you look at the standings, man, there's still, the door is open.
Yeah, it's wide open.
It is wide open.
It's wide open.
Because Winnipeg, the way they're flapping in the winds right now, they're 3-3. BC's 2-3, or 3-5. Sorry. Yeah. So in Edmonton's 2 wins back from BC and Winnipeg. I know BC has beaten them twice, so there's that, but they're still in the mix. And then out east, it's a 2-horse race between Hamilton and Montreal. Other than that, I think Toronto will, once Chad Kelly is healthy, I think they will get in the mix. But there's still opportunity, man.
Well, let's look ahead a little bit, because Edmonton next week, they're hosting Hamilton. We'll talk about that in a little bit, because that's Hamilton suddenly looks like one of the best teams in the CFL. 5 straight, yeah. Winnipeg is playing host to Toronto, who they just lost to. But you would imagine they're probably favored in that game. And then next week, Winnipeg goes into Calgary, and BC, who is on the bye week next week. This is the week after that now. Winnipeg, like I said, they go into Calgary, and BC is going into Hamilton, who just came and beat them at home. Edmonton, they are on the road against Montreal, but it's like, I don't know, if you look at Winnipeg, like of their the 3 combined games, it's Hamilton, Toronto, and Calgary. There's, a chance those 2 teams go 1-2 in that stretch. If you can take care of business against Hamilton at home, which is going to be a tough game, and then go on the road and beat a Montreal team you came back with and played tough in the fourth quarter, like all of a sudden you're right there. And I think you're going to have those 2 games on the back of a quarterback you now really trust. So there's something to be said for that.
All right. So we talk about the quarterback position, and sorry, I want to hear what you have to say. Let me just quickly, the quarterback position, you say Winnipeg. How outside of this market, we know how much talk about the quarterback position. The Winnipeg, now they're looking at Chris Streveler. How confident would you fellas be if you were a Blue Bomber fan and you got this? I'm not going to say turmoil, but there's some influx. You don't know what's happening with the quarterback position. Zach Collaros' health status is up in the air. I played with him in Saskatchewan when he was, on the verge of having to retire because his brain and concussion issues. Like, I saw those hits firsthand, and he's come back and had like amazing success since. But now again, he took a big ding a couple weeks ago. The way it was handled, he was rushed back. He mysteriously doesn't come back at halftime this past weekend. It's just kind of weird. So now they're looking at Chris Streveler, and to be honest, fellas, I don't have a ton of faith in him.
Yeah, you know what? I think he had a good stint there with them before he went to the NFL, correct? So I think their fan base might fall back on that and go, you know what? This is our backup, but we kind of had a thing with him before, so they're not going to be too nervous. But once he gets in there, if he doesn't win right away, doesn't do positive things right away, they're going to start to spin on him instantly because they have been so good for so long. And when you start dropping down the standings a bit, the fan base is going to get a little antsy, I think.
Yeah, like Zach also hasn't played great this year. Like he's more interceptions and touchdowns. I know Chris, like to me, his ratio is a little better. I think Zach is 7 to 8 and Chris is 5 to 3. So his ratio is a little bit better, but Zach still feels like the better quarterback. I'm almost like if I'm Winnipeg, even if I'm a fan of a different team sitting here, like I'm looking at them saying, you guys have had it so good for 5 years. Like it's time for things to come full circle a little bit. Like, yeah, and that's exactly what's happening. That's the nature of sports. That's the circle of life. That's what's happening in Winnipeg. But it is crazy to think like a team that was so, because I had them pegged as one of the top 2 teams in the West coming into the season, as I think most people would have. But to see the way they've kind of come back to earth and look, very human, and they look like a very middle of the pack. Like at Toronto with Nick Arbuckle is not a very good team. And they just held that Winnipeg team to under 20. And beat them by 2 scores. And that's a team that had 1 win coming into this week. Goes to the old adage, like anyone can win in the CFL and game's never over. But if I'm a fan of Winnipeg, like you've had it so good for so long, like it's time for things to come full circle a little bit, right?
So dominant in the West, especially 5 straight Grey Cups. Like
insane.
That's next level.
Mike O'Shea, man. Just
Mike O'Shea,
master.
hell of a coach.
Yeah.
Now I've seen, Rash Madani, eh? Yeah, I've seen him put out a couple weeks back. Is this the beginning of the end, essentially, for Mike O'Shea as a coach? I think he's got a little bit more of a leash than a few bad weeks in the season, after taking the team to 5 straight.
But do you think it's more like Mike's going to be like, you know what, I've done all I can do here? And here's the other thing. Like he's obviously won Grey Cups, but he's lost more than he's won now. Yes. Like I wonder if the narrative starts to become he's not a playoff coach, which I don't think it's like you can't say that when a guy's got multiple Grey Cups.
Yeah,
but I just wonder if like
getting there. Too.
I know it's a tough one, but
getting to the ship every year for 5 straight. It's one thing if you're losing in the West Final, but when you're getting to the game, and they've been in. Think about the Toronto game a couple of years ago. That was in Saskatchewan, where Robbie Smith blocked the field goal, and like Enoch Mwamba had the pick. Like it's not like they're getting to the Grey Cup and choking. They're getting in these tight games. The Cody Fajardo beats them on the last second throw, essentially in 23. So like they're losing heartbreakers now.
Yeah, it's true.
They're not getting to the Grey Cup and just getting beat by 21 points. They're close games.
But I still wonder if like for him, because you were talking about the end of the Mike O'Shea era. I wonder if for him it's just like I want to do something new. Like what I mean? Like this chapter is going to close.
On that point, I think that this is a very key and telling season for the organization as a whole because they're hosting the Grey Cup this year. And, there's a lot of talk about going all in and them being so dominant. And you finally get the Grey Cup that you're hosting in front of your home fans. That's been the best home fan base in the league the past 5 years. And they're starting to choke. They might not even make it the way they're looking. I know they started slow last year and still made it, but this year's different than last year. So I think that combined with potentially, seeing how this unfolds, not making it to the home Grey Cup that you're hosting, plus how the way, it doesn't look like he's losing the locker room by any means, but it doesn't feel like the same Winnipeg. And they're aging out. Who's kidding who? Yep. Their key cogs are aging out all at the same time.
Yep.
Losing leaders like Biggie, who they didn't re-sign last year. Yes, he was losing a step on the field, but the intangibles off the field in the locker room, you lose key parts like that when you age out all at the same time.
Yeah, it's a really fair point. The other thing like I think of is because he's lost the last 3 in a row, right? So like imagine if he went it's not looking likely to this point in the season, but imagine if he goes for a 6 straight and loses 4 in a row.
Boy,
that's a really tough look. Like people will talk because right now I think when people talk about Mike O'Shea, and this is obviously all hypothetical, but I think when people talk about Mike O'Shea, they talk about the 5 he's gotten to. But if you go to 6 in a row but you lose the last 4, that's the narrative. The narrative is you lose 4 in a row.
That is.
They'll always remember the first 2 you won.
Yep.
But they will like those four in a row you lose, those will be attached to you as well.
Despite, them having whatever, I think it was 29-year drought in between, and Andrew Harris came back in 2019 and they won it, and Cinderella, it was great. Yeah, all that kind of gets forgotten about to a degree when you've gotten there 6 times and you lose the last 4. That's a great point, Dak.
Just thinking of the this past weekend in the CFL, did you see Robert Carter's interception?
Ooh,
last
that's one of the best catches I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness.
Not pick.
You know what's crazy?
Catches.
Yes. What's crazy is he had like a very, very similar one in college when he was playing a Robert Morris.
That was him.
One-hand body contortion. Because I remember they pulled it up on the broadcast and they said, yeah, this looks a little similar. And they showed his old one. Like, how does it go? He had a once-in-a-lifetime catch twice.
And it's just the way that, like, the ball sticks to him.
Yes.
The angles and stuff don't make sense, right? And it's the way he catches it. You feel me, Rick?
Yeah, it's a big football. And it just pops in his hand and he just holds it like it's nothing. Like it's like a little mini Elks ball.
Yeah, that's
it was insane what he could do with it. Didn't move in his hand once.
And with the speed, man, these quarterbacks, too, fellas, like the balls look nice and pretty when they're spiraling.
Oh, they're bombing.
They're coming fast.
I bet.
Like, I'm telling you, they're coming fast. They're hard to catch.
Yep.
They are. These receivers make it look easy. The quarterbacks throw it really hard. So to catch it the way he catches it at that angle, man, that's nuts.
I'm just saying, like, to do it, and then because it's so funny because Milt kind of made the point at halftime. He was like talking about that play. He was like, "That's one of the best plays in football ever. Period. The players in this league are special. Like, this league is special." Obviously, taking shots at our boy.
Where
Luke
you
Wilson.
going, Dak? Where you
Luke
going,
Wilson,
Dak?
by the way, please come on Elks 101. We'd love to have you. We'd love to talk to you about this.
Oh yeah,
because it's just like you know, a guy who covers, it blows my mind still that a guy who covers the league can trash it this hard and clown it this badly and just kind of use the guise of, oh, you know, people are talking about the league like I'm being objective. It's like, you know what you're doing. Like, we know you're dragging it through the mud. Just like, sick, man. You played in the NFL. We get it. Like, you're covering the CFL now. Like, your glory days are behind you.
For real.
Like, let's talk about the CFL.
Well, and
great league.
I don't care how much money you made. You having more money doesn't make you better than someone. Like, you can brag about how much money you got. That don't mean a lick to me. You're not a better human than me. Sure, you played in the league. You can't sit here and say that CFL is not professional. When he said it was amateur, that I took personally. When I see stuff about the ratio and stuff too, man, I don't want to see the league become just another spring league because we see what happens with these spring leagues. There's something unique about having the Canadians, and sure, everybody wants to dream about being in the NFL, but I'll say this, full disclosure. I was a Canadian kid growing up in North End, Winnipeg. I dreamed about being a damn Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Yes, I wanted to make it to the NFL, but to be honest, I wanted to make it to the CFL because that was my local team, the local pro team that I grew up going to, getting Safeway end zone seats for $28 a ticket, $25 a ticket. My dad taking me to games, stopping on the way to get sunflower seeds, the nostalgia. I love the CFL, and I wanted to be a CFL football player. I had a couple of NFL workouts. No, I didn't make the NFL, but I was damn proud to have played almost a decade in the CFL, where the career average in both pro football leagues is 3.5 years, because playing pro football is a hard thing to do. And I was proud to have my CFL career. So when it comes to that, I'm always going to stick up for the Canadians who dream about making it to the CFL, because that is a dream for Canadian kids. And you can disparage the league all you want, but it's pro ball. It's talented ass players. I've played with first rounders from the NFL. I've played with legit first rounders who were out of the NFL in 3-4 years up in the CFL. And these guys were cut within weeks because they couldn't hang. So it doesn't matter when you're talking about that. Just because you played in the league doesn't make you better. And what Milt said was right, talking about the talent. And, I'm kind of over it, because what's the end game? We can bring up the negatives and we can talk about why the league, and there is improvements needed. Fellas, there are improvements needed. It's not a perfect product, but it's a product that's been around for 100+ years, longer than the NFL. Yep. It is a product that's been around for a while. And ultimately, you talk about stuff. I hate people who talk about stuff and offer no solutions. People who complain and bring their complaints to me. Okay, so what are we going to do about it? There's nothing there. If you're going to talk about these complaints and bring up the negative, well, you better have an answer for it as well.
I was also a kid. Things obviously worked out a little bit differently for me, but I was also the kid who dreamed about playing in the CFL. I didn't even watch the NFL till I was probably like 10. You know what I mean? Like it was a video game to me. Like I didn't know.
Mhm.
I was like, the real football's on in the summer.
Mhm.
Like I wanted to be in the CFL. I wanted to be a Saskatchewan Roughrider. You know what I mean? Like that was my league, and I'll always have so much love for it. So hearing someone who, you know, was from Canada, wanted to play for the hometown team, was all decade, played a decade in the league, like it's so what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like it's just so good to hear that exists. You know what I mean? Like
That's
that
what
there
I
is
want it
real,
to be, man.
yeah, there is real desire from these Canadian kids to go out there and become a legend in the CFL. Like that's why I think like a guy like him who just trashes it, like thinks just somehow acts like that dream is less than, and that's not fair. And that's not fair to how hard these guys work to get into the league, man. And that's not fair to how talented they are and the product they put on every league. Amateur players don't make that catch Robert Carter. Like I don't even fuck that play. Fuck that play. They don't. It's they don't make any of the plays. Like it's a professional league. Like what am I even saying here? I just argued with myself.
And you're playing for the love of the game. You're not making millions, but look, my best years I was making 160 for 5 months to play football as a 25-year-old kid, man. Like that's the second most you could ever get paid from the NFL when we're talking professional football, because these spring leagues aren't paying that type of cash. Maybe a couple of guys are making some cash, but typically they're not paying like that. So, man, to me, that was awesome. Living my dream, making good money, you know, seeing Canada and getting exposed to so many cool things. Like, come on now.
And there's like people talk about like, oh, you know, go be on a practice squad and make more. It's like, okay, do you want to go be on a practice squad?
Look at Nathan Rourke.
Yes.
He was on like 13 teams the past couple of years. You know how hard it is? And yes, good for you, man. You played and you got your 100+ games. That's great. But it's like these guys are just numbers. You're all numbers as pro athletes. Mm-hmm. And in the league, there's so much politics, and I've seen it over and over. Like it's hard. Nathan Rourke is a prime example. So hyped up, and the second coming up here. You go down there and you're just rotating around, can't even get a lick in practice, man.
This is what I'm saying. Like, okay, so you're there on a practice squad for 2 years, making your $425K, cut it any minute. Like, and I'm saying like these 2 years, like I just picked a number, but that's kind of like best case scenario, right? Like you're not like the length of a practice squad player is not like you're not a 10-year practice squad player. No. So you're there like making $425K, man, and then forgot about it.
I don't know the numbers exactly, Deck, but I would recall that practice squad players in the league used to make like 90K, and I think it's up now where they're making like 150 or something. So like if they're not making a ton of money, man.
That's and you got to play football when you come to the CFL.
That's the point.
Don't these guys want to play the game, not play it, not stand there with a clipboard and hope for their time?
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what I was trying to work around to. Exactly that. Like, do you want to be that guy who's just sitting there on the practice squad, or do you want to come be in the CFL and make a legacy? Do you want to have a chance to actually play the game you love for 10 years? Like, money's cool, man, but like, let's like, if you're sitting there on a practice squad, you're not making Pat Mahomes money. You're not Tom Brady. Like, you're a guy who's making the minimum. Like, be in the CFL and play and build your legacy and play the game you love for 10 years and be able to look a high school football kid or a peewee kid in the eye and say, like, you can become me as well. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what I did. This is the path I took. I played the game that I loved. Like, be that guy. You know what I mean?
I wonder how some of the legends that I grew up watching too, one of them is his colleague in Milt Steele. Mm-hmm. I wonder how legends like Milt Steele, Chris Walby, like a Winnipeg legend, some of these SAS legends who still watch the game, just any player who had any relevance in the league. I wonder how they feel when, they see this guy for TSN taking mad shots at the league, calling down the football, calling down the athletes, calling down the Canadians. I wonder how these great Canadians and great players that I played with throughout my tenure in the league and before me, I wonder how they feel when they hear this.
Like, I get there's something to be said for like objective journalism. We come in here every day and put on our big J Journo caps. But like, you're working, like, the programming is the CFL on TSN. Like, if you were a TSN football, analyst, it'd be one thing. But to be working for maybe you guys disagree, but to be working for the CFL on TSN and just as like a sideline reporter and constantly trashing it, like, that's so much different than being a beat reporter for, the Journal,
totally,
or, a columnist for Sportsnet or something. Like, it's so, like, I don't like it. You wouldn't be an accountant and talk shit about math. Like, you wouldn't work for NASA and say how fucking stupid rockets are. Like, I don't know why you have this path to do it with what you're doing.
Well, and it's all just covered up and painted with this lipstick because we're talking about the CFL, which we're doing right now, and we're talking about the league and how it could be better, but we're not talking about how it could be better. We're just hearing the negative and bring some answers to the forefront. One thing that he did bring up, though, and it's interesting with Luke, he kind of, to be honest, fellas, I'm only a couple years older than him, but he reminds me of myself a little bit, if I'm keeping it real.
Really?
Yeah, to a degree, because he's not afraid to say some things. There are some hard truths in the things he says. You just don't need to be a dick to people. And, you know, like I got fired from Ched for saying a couple of hard truths. The local radio station that's a partner with the Double E out here 4 or 5 years ago. I called out the GM and said some things that were the truth. But, you know, due to the fact that we were the partner of the football club, and there was some, I think, egos that were hurt. And that's why they went behind the scenes and had me removed from the broadcast, because I don't think I initially would have been. But I heard the GM's feelings and he didn't like that. And because I said the truth about what he was doing, I didn't go, you know, start talking out my ass and just say, oh, this guy's an effing idiot. And I wasn't doing that. I was talking factual, and I laid out like 5 different arguments as to why this guy is failing at his job as a general manager. And he didn't like that. So I get it, because Luke says some hard truths. Now, again, you just need a little training and not to be an arrogant dick to people.
I want to see what someone like Cam Wake has to say about this, because this guy spent a couple years here, was one of the best players here, went down there, played both leagues, worked on both sides, was one of the best players down there and up here. Like, I want to see him come out and defend this league and defend the players, because some of the things that he was saying, I just don't believe. I don't believe it. Like, I just don't believe they're that wrong, or they don't try that hard, they don't practice that much. Like, he didn't play a lick in the CFL, right? So he's not really going to understand. You've got a guy out there in Cam Wake who's done it on both sides and been extremely successful on both sides. Come out and give us what you've seen, because you actually have a perspective from both sides.
This is what I wonder, because he retired pretty young. I guess not that young, but he retired at 30. He kind of didn't really play since he was 28. Like, he was on practice squads for a couple years with a couple
his last couple of years.
But I wonder, like, at 30, you know, as a guy who had a good 5 years of like actually, you know, being out there and catching balls in the NFL, like, I wonder, like, he would have had enough left in the tank. Obviously, the CFL offense doesn't really run tight ends, so it's, you know,
been like an H-back,
exactly,
blocking, fullback.
But I wonder if he came here and played, and again, it would have been tough because of the position he plays, but I wonder if he came here and played, if he'd be saying any of this right now, or if he'd have a totally different perspective on it.
Most likely not, because I don't think there's an appreciation for the grind. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a grind. If you're not making the millions, yes, the work days are shorter per the union and the CFL. They only can keep you for 4.5 hours. So absolutely, the work days are shorter. Where in the NFL, you're doing 4.5 hours of film prep just before you even step out there for practice. They just overanalyze the film. So yeah, there is more prep time, but the resources are limited here. In the NFL, the resources are unlimited. In the CFL, the salary cap, we've talked about this so many times, right around the $6 million range.
Like 6.3.
Yeah, in the NFL, it's like 240 million. So like, it's just a different game. So you can't just come and shit on it, because it's a completely different game. And this product, again, has been around longer than the NFL. It has. I know the gates are starting to dwindle, and that's something that can be talked about, and how do we fix it? But the TV numbers are better than they've ever been. So it's not like people are not watching and paying attention to the league.
100%. Yeah. Like, part of it is just, listen, the realities of life right now. Like, listen, man, you sit at home and you watch the game for free. You go and you spend, like, to do anything. I'm not even talking football. Like, to do anything in life, man. Like, you wake up and it's $100, $150. Like,
for real.
And there's something to be said for that. Like, there can be really passionate, like, staying at home watching the game because of, you know, financial limitations, or even just financial decision. That doesn't make you a B-level fan. That's just sometimes the decisions you have to make.
And times have changed for real, Deck, just in terms of the accessibility. It's easier to just stay home and watch it, as opposed to in the past, TV, you would get it on like CBS or CBC, sorry, or TSN.
I used to
so you
love
had
this.
to go to the game or the radio, because there's not much other ways you can act. Now you can. I was down in Vegas and I was watching on CFL Plus on my iPad, so you can watch it wherever you want now. It was just amazing. So you don't have to go to the game.
TSN does a great job with it, though. Like, everybody that's there, their camera, everything, the production level is relative NFL level. So I understand why you stay home and watch a little bit more now.
That's a great point. It is a great broadcast.
Like TSN does a great job with this, and they've been doing it for years.
They got their panel. It's true. It's true.
All that said, though, I still think here in the city for sporting events, the best mix of affordability, talent, and environment, I still think it's the Elks. Like when you look at like the Oilers, obviously that's the NHL. You're paying an arm and a leg. The Riverhawks, like great environment. All respect to those kids. It's
they're not pro.
They're not pro. No. Yeah. Stingers, it's a pro league as well, but the talent level again probably a little bit low. Like so when
with
you mix,
all due respect,
with all like
it is what it is.
I love the Stingers, I love the Riverhawks, love the Oil. Like I'm not trashing any of these, and I'm just saying like when you mix everything, when you mix affordability, environment, talent, you're actually seeing on the field. I still think the Elks, they're sitting at the top of the mountain in terms of the mix there. So, okay, Rick, actually, I wanted to get this one from you, man, because it's probably a pretty obvious answer for you on one side, but yesterday we obviously did our offensive and defensive players of the game for the one against Saskatchewan. Who were your shouts for that one?
You know what? I think he was frustrating at times, but when you look back on it, I don't think it was his fault. But Fajardo, I think. Yeah. There were just things he did that we haven't seen yet. And it might just be the long ball. Like he tossed it up there and then we came down with it. Really haven't seen it this year.
An accurate long ball?
Yeah, like they're tossed out there and we caught it. All of a sudden we got a 30-yard game, which we really haven't done as much this year. Yeah. The defense, what does Saskatchewan put up for points?
21.
I think before we start looking at individuals, because I did say the defense as a whole has to step up. When you hold Saskatchewan to only 21 points, I think the defense as a whole at this point with this record has to get the nod here. They came together. They gave the team an opportunity to win. We had last drive of the game. We were right there. You can't ask for much more out of this defense, especially against a team like Saskatchewan. I don't think anybody really stood out. So I'm just going to give it to them on the whole for allowing this team the opportunity to be there at the very end of the game with a chance to win.
Yeah, we kind of said the same thing. Like it was they stepped up, man. Best game of the season. Like I was thinking back to how we did it yesterday, and we were like, it's pretty easy to be tough on a team that's 1-5, but I think we were pretty positive leaning, all things considered, with how the defense played and with how Cody played. And you went into a tough place to play in Saskatchewan, and you only lost by 3 against it. And it was Trevor Harris just had nearly 400 yards against BC. You held him to 268. Yeah, you were giving up like 400. Let me pull up actually the number here of how much they were giving up. They were giving up 443 yards of offense a game. Held Saskatchewan to like 320.
There were a lot of moral victories in the game that you could pull. But then the O-line shows up.
Or didn't. Or the right side anyways.
Right?
So it's going to be a tough week in film for
them. But it's going to be an embarrassing week in film.
All right, so we got Hamilton this week at home. Looking ahead to this one. They're streaking. I mean, they're 5 in a row. They've rattled out 5
Bo's hot right now.
Bo's playing.
He's back there. You can see it in that BC game. He's confident, man. He's just holding that ball and pew, pew.
It's tough because my MOP right now would probably be between him and Kenny. Like Kenny doesn't have his success without Bo, but Kenny's putting up such insane numbers as a wideout. Like it is MOP, like it's outstanding, right? But Bo leads the league in passing yards this year. He got 2,200. There's only one other guy who's over 2,000. It's actually Nick Arbuckle, funnily enough. Bo's got 15 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He has the second highest efficiency rating behind only Trevor Harris. He's completing it at about a 70% clip. Like he's playing,
he led the league in passing last year too.
Yeah,
right?
He did 5,400 as an old man. Came in third on the list of the CFL top 50. Man. Brady was number 1, and then my guy Roland Milligan was number 2. Yeah. Roland Milligan, by the way, unreal. So good. But
he does it all.
So this last game, Bo Levi, 34 for 41, 389 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like he's playing just great ball. But we talked about this yesterday. This was a game for the Elks secondary where they finally showed up enough to say, you have confidence that they can go. Listen, you're not going to hold Bo Levi Mitchell to 100 yards passing. If that's the game plan, throw it out and get a new one. Like that's not going to happen. But there's enough confidence that secondary can mitigate what Bo is going to do.
Totally.
The question is, the obvious question is, okay, they can do it. Will they do it? And the second question is, if they do, what other position groups are going to show up or aren't going to show up?
Yeah, I really, when it comes to this defense and Bo Levi, I'm actually feeling quite confident compared to the weeks past in terms of everything you just laid out. The way that defense played, and they didn't just sit back in soft coverage and give up the underneath like we've seen in rally. They were actually up in guys' faces, tight coverage, and the best thing, in my opinion, was the tackling. Right, like JJ Ross's willingness to step up on the edge as a defensive back and make a tackle or two. That was very noticeable.
The two guys who I think are most willing to tackle and are flying around there the most in this secondary are the two guys who were on the practice squad to start the season. And JJ was on the practice squad 6 days ago even. But him and Kenny Logan are two guys who are flying around. It's a completely different secondary. It's almost been a different secondary every week, but a completely different secondary than the one it was to start the season. But yeah, like Kenny and JJ being just the willingness to go fly around there and make tackles is huge. Like, it's such a lift.
One thing we need to touch on as well is Joel DeBlanco, because Nick Anderson, his status is up in the air. He didn't finish the game, of course, but I thought Joel stepped up and played well. First overall pick from last year, and I think that he's going to have to start to carry and shoulder more of a load within this defensive scheme, and I think he is prepped and primed to do so, man.
I agree. Like, he had played pro ball before. He was a guy who was on that Cincinnati team that went to the college football playoff. Like, you have to be a really good player to be, and he was a first overall pick as well. Like,
who was their quarterback that year again?
It was that guy. It was hold on. I can picture him.
Me too.
This is because he went.
That's why I asked.
He was this is so bad because I'm a college football guy too. And this was like 2021.
It was fairly recent.
And he went to the NFL, played. He's like out of the league already. At Atlanta, Arizona.
He was a third stringer.
Yeah,
It wasn't Desmond Ritter.
It was Desmond Ritter.
Was it Desmond Ritter?
Yes, thank you. It was Desmond Ritter.
Okay.
It was. I'm really embarrassed that I didn't pull that, but I'm glad you did. But my point being, like, Joel, he's a guy, and he, like, listen, you're backing up Nick Anderson and Niles Morgan. I guess you're really backing up Niles, but like those are two staples of the defense. Like, those are two guys tough to back up. Like, it's tough to get your shot when those two are in front of you.
Yeah.
Barring injury, and now we may have that, and even like he's still rotating in on a fair few amount of packet. Exactly. So I like Joel. I like him a lot. Like, he has a mentality, like, because I remember I talked to him on draft night when he was there, when he was the first overall pick that night, and he's just a guy who like loves the game, ready to go, like wants to do what he can do, and he's been playing a lot of special teams up to this point. Now we're seeing him in looks and packages, and I'm really excited to see what he can do because he's a guy who's sure tackler, like when he's there, reads the play well, which you have to as a Mac. So I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward. Hold on, let me see what I was going to pull up here.
I don't know how you can hold all that college football information in your head. I've tried to get into it. You try and follow one team and whatever, but I know there's a lot of turnover in the CFL. In college ball, especially now with the NIL going out there, the turnover is absolutely insane.
It's going to change these next few years.
Yeah. I don't know how you
personally, because it's going to get harder.
Yeah, I don't know how you sit there, just kind of close your eyes and go back. I mean, there's 1,000 teams you have to remember. You go back to a certain year, like that's incredible knowledge in that head.
That is trippy.
Well, it's
passion.
It is. It
has to be, right?
For sure. It's just, dude, there's just something to be said for like a fall. My favorite thing in the world, like fall Saturday.
It makes a great Saturday, but to have everything up there, like following one team, cool. I can't even figure out all the conferences, let alone teams in the conferences. And you have that. You have the teams, the conferences, the players, and the years and the positions, and mind-boggling.
It's just so awesome though. Like, college football is so sick, dude. Like, my favorite thing in the world, like Saturday afternoon, not August. What am I saying? Fake fan. Well. September, October,
training camp.
A couple Bud Light.
It starts. You got 2 weeks into August sometimes,
dude. Normally around this time, I divide my time between CFL and college, and like I start really looking at the rosters, and I start really like reading the beat reporters, and I start really like listening to the things I need to be listening to. But this year, like I'm fully in on the CFL. Like, it's 100. It's not 60-40 CFL anymore. It's like 99-1. Yeah. Sorry, college football. I still love you, but we're the start time for this 1 p.m. long weekend. How are we feeling about that?
Well, as a family man myself, I'm not mad at it. It's a long weekend, middle of the day on a Saturday. Not favorable for a huge crowd. Who's kidding who?
Yeah.
But, you know, I got a couple young kids, so there is a certain segment of people who are going to look to this as pretty good timing.
Family event,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't know. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, like it being a long weekend as a hindrance, which I think, you know, certainly can be. You have people going out of town, like, you know, it's August long, we're hitting the lake, we're taking the boat out. But there is something to be said for, you know, people who are, hey, like, what are we, you know, doing this weekend? Let's do a football game.
And look, I'm not pocket watching people, but I hear that, like, people heading to the lake. How many people own lake properties and this and that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially in this climate. So I'm not going to use that. And I've said it before, you know, it's a long weekend. People are out of town, sure, to a degree, but there's a whack load of people that are in town. And, you know, each club actually gets to choose their slots for home games. Like they put in bids to the league. And so the Elks choose when they want to have some of these home games. And I could see this being an intentional one because we constantly talk about wanting to get the next generation involved in following the league. And for me, again, as a family man, I'm around on a Saturday afternoon with the kids, and that's who you want to tap into is the kids. So I think it is kind of strategic having this game.
As a player, how much did it change for you having an afternoon game?
I love the afternoon games, boy. 1 o'clock too.
Just get to it faster?
Get to it faster. You don't got to wait around all day. 7, 8 p.m. kickoffs are tough. You're waiting. You're thinking about it. You're napping. Sometimes you nap too much. Could be a little groggy. I love waking up, getting to the stadium by 11, playing at 1. And then you got your day after too, right? You got a full day to get after it. You know what I'm saying? The post-game shenanigans last much longer.
How much did the pregame routine change?
Not much. Other than what you're eating. But I'm a morning guy too. I'm fresher, you know, like I'm so much more energy in the afternoon compared to at night. And when, you know, you're not getting off the field till 11 p.m. sometimes.
Would you, when you had a game at night, would you be anxious all day or is it just pure excitement?
It's anxiety. It's anxiety for sure.
Because I remember, like, obviously, again, we're very different level athletes, but I remember when I would have boxing matches like at night, I would just the whole day I'd be like a wreck.
Totally.
Especially like, I don't know, for like boxing, like you're just walking into.
You're getting ready for war. There's no different. I mean, of course, different sport, but really because football, the nature of it, you're getting ready for combat, just like boxing, man. You're getting ready for a war. You got to get your mind to a place that's uncomfortable.
Yeah. So like speaking of that, like that was another reason you like the early afternoon games. Like it's just you're getting into it quick. Like there's no time to. I'll mess with that.
What's the come down like? Like, does that take a long time?
Yeah, man, it does actually. That's an interesting question. I've never had anybody actually ask me that.
Great question.
It is a great question for real, because there is a come down, like post game, man.
You're jacked up.
You're jacked up, man. And typically, like, it's not always fueled with the right substances because guys are hitting a bottle and stuff like right away, looking to party and stuff. So that doesn't help. But like the body's sore. Usually guys got like a lot of painkillers and stuff flowing through their veins that they've taken. So that's not out of the system. You haven't eaten for many hours now because I don't like to play on a full stomach. So I probably wouldn't have eaten for like 7-8 hours and have played a game. You're dehydrated. You're you're shaky almost. Like,
what kind of timeline you think? So for the game ends at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
What are you looking at when you're falling asleep again? 3, 4?
Oh yeah. Easy. Sometimes honestly, if you had a bad game, you're not even sleeping, bro.
You're overthinking.
Like, for real, you're overthinking. Like you maybe you'll get an hour or two, then you wake up, you're seeing if the film is uploaded on the iPad, and you're like wanting to get into the stadium by like 7, get your treatment and stuff too. Like it's sometimes, honestly, I'm not even bullshitting. It's like a 1-2 hour sleep.
Yeah, I can see it.
You're just thinking all night, man, because the pressure is so high too. And the anxiety is so real if you have a bad game.
And you know, like if you fuck up somewhere, like
you know where and how exactly what it's going to look like on film. And like if you have multiple of those fuck ups in a game, there's going to be a guy sitting in the locker room trying out for your position that next day too. So it's real, man.
What time would you have your pregame meal for like a 1 o'clock game? Was your pregame meal same every game?
Yeah, for the most part. So if we're on the road in a 1 o'clock game, they would feed you a brunch that would consist of, you know, your powdered eggs, some potatoes, and some sort of meats. But then there would also be your chicken and pasta. They give you variety that you can choose from. But if it's a 1 o'clock game, I would eat a big brekkie probably at 9, and that would be all I would eat.
And just water, Gatorade.
Yeah, water, a lot of salt packets and stuff like that. 5 hour energy, always would have a 5 hour energy. That was one of my.
That was your thing, like before a game.
Yeah,
Like, because I remember Marshawn Lynch saying he would take a shot of Henny before every game.
Yeah,
which I get.
Take my shot of 5 hour energy.
Yeah. Would you have like gels at halftime or anything?
Yeah, I would chew on little gel Gatorade gels, like fruit snacks. Toradol. I would typically play.
Yeah,
out of my 150 games I played in the league, I probably took Toradol for over 100 of them. A couple pills, and that just messes with your gut. So with the Toradol, it essentially just numbs you out, so you don't feel the collisions as bad.
Were guys taking cortisone?
They would shoot you up if you had a bad injury, but you can't just go, "Hey doc, give me a cortisone shot." But Toradol would.
Toradol gets handed
those
out,
puppies out. But you'd always have to take a stomach liner because they would just mess your stomach up. And then if you haven't eaten for a while, your stomach is just hurting, man. Makes you have to take the biggest dump, but you have nothing to dump, straight up.
Yeah.
So you have to take a stomach liner so it's easier on your stomach.
Dude, again, can't stress this enough how much we were different level athletes. But like, again, before a boxing match, like I would try and shit like 8-9 times. And it's just like you haven't eaten because you've been cutting weight.
Yeah.
Like you just can't do it. But I would try and do it. Like I remember it'd be like 15 minutes before I like had to walk out, like my hands are wrapped, and I would still like be trying to shit. Try like 8-9 times.
I'd be in my equipment. I got my shoulder pads on, all big and tall. But honestly, you look under and there's like 3 other guys next to you. You see all their taped up cleats. Jim, is that you?
You going in there with your pads on? Those are going to be extra wide stalls at that point.
Yeah, they're wide. You're all tight. But with the boxing, man, what were some of those weight cuts like for you? Pretty savage or what?
Dude, it wasn't bad because as an amateur boxer, you weigh in the same day as the fight. So you don't have like that 24 hours to rehydrate. So like what they really try and do with amateur boxing is have you fight at your natural weight. Like they really try and discourage weight cutting. Because for anyone who doesn't know, like when you weight cut, like when you water load and then drain yourself and you do that weight cut, it drains the water from your brain. And there's less fluid there. So your brain is just slamming into your skull as opposed to having that water as a cushion. So it's really de-incentivized. That said, obviously, it still happens. Like the most I ever did was 7 pounds in a night, which isn't like, it's not that crazy or anything, but for amateur, it's not great. But I fought as a middleweight. So I fought at, which in amateur is 165. And I generally walk around at like 185, 190. So mostly for me, like I was able to get down to like 170 with diet and cardio, and then just cut like the last 5 in sauna, in the bath, stuff like that. But it's a terrible process. Like it sucks, man. Like it's the night before, because this was another thing, and this was specific to me. I would always, and this isn't a good idea, I wouldn't recommend this. I would always try to be on weight the night before. So I would try to go to bed at 165. And then you wake up, you wake up in the morning and you weigh like a touch lighter just because you've dehydrated yourself for however many hours. And then like that way I would be able to have, some water in the morning before the weigh-ins. The worst was actually if you were at like a tournament and you would have to weigh in the Saturday and the Sunday. Like sometimes you might not fight each day. Like sometimes you might, lose on Saturday. But yeah, there was like, so it basically like if I weighed in that Saturday morning and had to fight that Saturday night, and then was maybe gonna have to fight the Sunday morning as well, you wouldn't be able to go have a big meal or anything, which I never did anyway, because it was just, again, like I didn't want to feel like I was slowing myself down. I didn't want the nerves of just like that sluggishness. But the weight cutting process is pretty, like when you go to bed, you're just like your blood is thicker, like you're so dehydrated you can't sleep, like your mouth is dry, like you're just spitting up, like it's and it's also like I don't know, I was like, people, I mean this respectfully, but I just think people didn't always necessarily understand the commitment. Like they didn't, like they were like, man, like you're an amateur boxer, like you're not headlining MSG. It's like, okay, I've still been eating nothing but salmon and rice for 4 weeks. Like I'm still counting every milliliter of water I'm taking in. You know what I mean?
You're still working.
Exactly.
You're lifting and you're doing.
Yeah, dude. It was. Work, oh man, like it was. It sucked because when you did have to get down to weight for a fight, like you're doing, because normally like how I would do it is like you do your road work in the morning or in the evening. I would generally do mine like whenever I could, but you're doing that and you're hitting pads. And you're doing, X amount of rounds of pads, and you're doing X amount of rounds of bag work, and you're doing X amount of rounds of sparring. Like sparring, you generally stop during the last week just because you gotta, protect the brain, stay sharp.
Stay safe.
But it's like all that, and then it's drinking too much water, then not drinking any water. Then it's like getting in a sauna. And here's the other thing: like I'm not, I'm not fighting for, you know, HBO boxing. Like I was going down, like my gym had a sauna, so I would use that one. But I was going down to the Kinsman
Straight
and just
up.
bringing my own scale and
man.
sweating it out, and then going and, you know, checking myself on the scale and getting back into the sauna. And have people looking at me like, what's this
You're
guy doing?
serious about it.
Yeah,
man.
100%. Like
You're
getting in the
serious.
bath, like just getting in it, like steaming hot bath. And you just gotta get in it, and you just gotta start sweating, and you gotta get out, and you gotta dry yourself off and wear yourself and get back into that bath. Going for runs with the sweatsuit on.
Exactly, I was gonna ask about the sweatsuits.
Yeah, going for runs with the sweatsuits on. One that I never did, but was pretty, you know, common for people is like they would take the exercise bike into the sauna and just put that in there and exercise bike in the sauna in the sweatsuit and get out, wring it out. You know, take it off. I can
relate. I used to be a fat ass. I used to be 355 pounds at my heaviest. I walk around now at 250, 245, and I was like obese. So I can relate to
you had to be though, no?
No, I was obese.
Really?
I was fat. I played at 280.
Yeah.
Man. I got to 350. I got a scholarship full ride coming out of high school, and I just stopped working. Once I got that full ride, all I did was smoke weed, eat fast food, man.
Yeah.
And I just ballooned up. I did all the wrong things.
Yeah.
Got to college.
That was going into the first year?
Going into my first year.
What was that like?
Man, eye-opening, because like there was a really good team that went undefeated, or not fully undefeated. I think they only lost 2 games the previous year. My first year I was redshirted, and they went undefeated that year, and it was like high standards. And I was just this tubby kid who was super athletic, but like I was doing all the wrong things educationally and nutritionally. I wasn't lifting. They threatened to pull my scholarship from me, and that kind of opened up my eyes and got on the right track. And I mean, the rest was kind of history.
Was that like coach sitting you down?
Yeah, Coach Dobie. Yeah. We used to get fined though. Getting back to the weight, we would get fined in the league for not checking in with our weights during training camp.
Oh wow!
You'd have to weigh in pre-practice and post-practice just to see how much you sweat and you lose. The most I ever lost during a practice was 13 pounds in a practice.
That's
13 pounds.
What do you remember? Was it like 350 down to 337?
No. This was in the league when I was playing, so it would have been probably 285 down to low 270s.
That's
easy.
insane.
It's a league mandate to weigh in before and after.
That would be
the team just to keep an eye on you. Yeah.
So this wasn't a U of M.
No. This
I was going to say, like, that sounds like a pro.
I transitioned there, and I wasn't overly clear. No, when I was in the league, it was under Chris Jones. Yeah, because he ran the hell out of us at practice, like more than I've ever been
Texas
run with
Tuesdays.
Coach. Like, yeah, buddy, like he killed us in practice. Double barrel. Normally you go A's versus scout team, and then when like offense, the A's versus scout team defense, and then the starting defense would be on the sidelines chilling, and then when the starting defense is going against the backup scout team offense, right, and then the offense is taking a break, and Chris Jones. He didn't do that. He went double barrel. He went 1s versus 1s on this field, 2s versus 2s on this field. You run a play here. Once this play is completed, we're running a play here, and just back and forth. So it's like the rest time was very limited. You're not on the sideline chilling on a knee. We're working, getting hundreds of reps. So he would make sure and if we wouldn't weigh in, he would fine us.
How did practice squad players react to that?
In terms of what,
like just
getting the reps. Oh, loved it, but it's hard, man. It's hard.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of running, man. But I mean, that was greatness. We were great on some of those teams.
Do you have no kidding. Do you have a teammate that like got fined a little more than everybody else? You don't have to say his name, obviously, but is there someone?
League-wide for sure, from the league, not so much from like the club itself, but from the league for sure. And it would 100% be for wardrobe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%. Because you have to wear the socks with the team colors and stuff. And when you see guys with their whole leg showing and just ankle socks, they're going to get a fine.
Yeah.
And they're just willing to take that fine because they want to look a certain way.
Do you ever?
I played with guys for sure.
You know, do you ever remember guys playing with their chains or anything?
Oh yeah, totally. Chains hanging out all the time. A lot of guys do that.
Yeah, no, like it's pretty common.
Another thing too with the wardrobe, like if back it used to be Adidas and Reebok. If you didn't wear all that or Adidas cleats, you'd have to tape up, or if you wore Nike cleats, you'd have to take a black Sharpie. And you know, and if guys just wanted to have the look, if they wanted to have their Jordan cleats out, you wear it and you're going to get a fine. You keep doing it, the fine just keeps getting bigger. It caps out at like $750 or something. It starts off at $200, $250.
So wrong socks. What's the price tag?
It would start at $250. Yeah, 250, fine, easy.
That's
Easy.
crazy.
If you did it the first week, the next week, if you did it again, it'd go up to 5.
Yeah, double down.
Yeah.
Wow. And were there guys just willing to get to that threshold and then just eat it every game?
Yeah, totally.
Just take it off the game check.
Yeah, just take it. Just take the fine.
Interesting.
Yeah, right off the game check.
That's game. It's so funny how the different sports leagues have different like ways of paying their players. Like I always think that's so funny. I don't love the idea of a game check. Like I hate getting it over a 18-week period essentially. Like that's
feast or famine.
Is it because they can release you the next day? Like, I mean, the NHL, you get paid every 2 weeks. You can't get dropped like that.
Totally.
But in CFL, you're there Monday and something comes up Monday night, Tuesday, you gone.
Yeah, you're getting paid for your work. That's why I say the only guarantee is that signing bonus.
Yeah.
Contracts have changed a bit now for the last CBA.
Yeah, pay you the back.
Yeah, a portion of the second year. But it's like only a certain portion. It's not even the majority. So you can get away from that. But yeah, man, it's because they can just, if you have a bad game, see you later. We don't owe you a lick.
How do you think the CFLPA is done with the CBA?
Better for sure. For sure. No doubt about it. Like league minimum is 75 now, I believe.
Yeah.
When I got in the league, when I was drafted in 2010, it was 48.5.
Yeah.
So there's a drastic difference with minimum.
Oh yeah.
With the minimum raising though, it does, kind of undercut some veterans to a degree, because now every young guys who are just coming in the league are now getting paid a lot more money. So you're, as a veteran, you're probably not going to be able to fetch as much on the market as you used to be, just because everything's kind of evened out a little bit. Exactly. But overall, I think pretty good. The TV deals are pretty good. It's like, to nitpick it, you can't really sit and nitpick it. I think it's the players have done almost as best as they could considering the position they're in.
Yeah. Okay, I guess looking ahead to the Hamilton game this week, like what are we thinking? How are we feeling about this one? Like we nervous? It's tough to feel great when you're 1-5 and you're playing a team that's won 5 in a row, but like we talked about, a lot to be positive about, a lot of good aspects of that Saskatchewan game. Like that's the first place team in the CFL. They're 6-1. Like that's a really good football team. It was a 3-point game when your QB had 350 yards or whatever it was, and your defense played well. Like there are things to be positive.
There's got to be some hunger, man. There's got to be some excitement and hunger, knowing that you can hang with these clubs, knowing that your defense has taken steps forward, and not going to say shut them down, but you have been letting up 34 points a game and you held them to 21. That's a damn good improvement. You look at the passing numbers and the rushing numbers, the stats, that's a really good improvement. Carry over the great quarterback play, because it was, pretty darn good quarterback play considering the circumstances of being chased around the yard. You still threw for 350. You outplayed Trevor Harris, had a couple of touchdowns. If we can bring these elements, I'm very excited. And the O-line has to be hungry. Football is a beautiful sport, and the fact that you get to get some revenge the next week, and they come out and they are able to put a game together, man, this team, like, they're close, fellas. They're close. They can hang.
Do you have keys to the game that spring to mind to you?
A rushing game. Offensively.
2 straight weeks.
Establish a rushing game. You don't have to rush for 150 yards, but it's get more
needs to
than
be there.
Yes. Try and run the ball 10 to 15 times and just see where the chips land.
Does that start with the offensive line though?
Yes, it does.
All right.
But the coach needs to allow his big boys to get into the game too.
Yep.
Right? Even if you're not going to have success on the first 4, you rush 4 times for 2 total yards gained, but still you can't just go away from it.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just start passing the ball and having your big boys drop back and trying to block these athletes. Let them bring it to these little small defensive linemen, because the reality is, and this is a Luke Wilson point, and then Derek Dennis brought this up, the defensive linemen are smaller in the CFL than they are in the NFL. They're more athletic to a degree. It's a different, shifty, quick type of a game. So these offensive linemen, when they're weighing 320 pounds in the CFL, you want to lean on some of these smaller defensive
Go forward,
ends,
not
man.
backwards.
Totally. So allow your guys to do that. Trust your guys to do that.
Well, Rick, do you have anything that springs to mind? I mean, I know you brought up the offensive line as well here, just in regard to that rushing game, but is there anything else?
Yeah, you know what? After watching the whole season right now, we've had positive points from every aspect of the game so far. We just haven't had it all in one game. I think if you look at last week and go to this week, it is the offensive line. As long as they can do their thing, it improves the running game. All of a sudden, Cody's not down 8 times in a game. Who knows where we are? You know, we took Saskatchewan the very last play of the game. We took him right to the end. Let's do this without him. Maybe we can keep it to 2. Okay, we'll give up 2 sacks. That's 6 more plays right there that the ball can go down the end. How many points comes of that? This, to me, is a 100% offensive line game. Defense bounces back after whatever is 2 games ago. They looked fine against last week. This year is the offensive line. They need to come out. If everyone else has done what they did, we should be fine.
I love what you guys are saying. I totally agree on the offensive line. Like, you can't watch last week and not say it's the offensive line. Like, you can't watch how Brett and how Boyko and McKellar looked on some of the plays and not point at them. I'm still gonna say I think my key to the game is defensively getting to Bo Levi Mitchell and making it uncomfortable for him. Like, he's lit up the league this year. He always lights up the league.
That's his whole career. One of the best. You have to get to him. I mean, any quarterback. You put pressure on them, and they're not the same person.
Yeah, but 100%. And Bo, you looked at his numbers, we talked about him, 2,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, only the 3 interceptions. If you're giving him time, you're giving him 4 or 5 seconds to work back there in the pocket, shredded. Like, he's going to shred you. So you have to get to Bo Levi. And you talked about Jared Brinkman doing it. Like, he was able to get a sack last week, and he was able to get some hits and some hurries. Like, there are, some things to look at from that defensive line and say, okay, we just got to extrapolate that. And so for me, like, getting to Bo Levi, making him uncomfortable, making him, get that ball out, being there to make plays on the ball if you're in the secondary. Those are my keys to the game, but it starts with the defensive line.
I'll tell you what you can't do. You can't do what BC did against Hamilton in their last game with 3 minutes left playing soft. Hamilton was down 10 points. Yeah. 3 minutes left, came back and won.
Yep.
That's why I love the CFL, because when there's 3 minutes left, man, there ain't no lead safe. And I've been on both sides. I've lost games and I've won games from some crazy comebacks, and it's heartbreaking. But what BC did, they were sitting back passive, very similar to how Edmonton had their secondary playing earlier in the season. And Bo Levi was just completing everything underneath, just chewing up first down after first down methodically. And lo and behold, go and you win the game at the end of the 3 minutes.
Really quickly, before we get to our hot seat of the week and blind rankings, do you have a most heartbreaking loss that really still sticks with you? Man, I'm not talking
easy. Deck.
Okay.
Easy.
I was going to qualify. It looks like I don't even have to.
2016. Let me set the scene. 2016. Edmonton Eskimos home afternoon game. Why it's such a huge crowd at the game? Flow Rider at halftime.
Wow.
Flow Rider put on a big show. We were playing Hamilton Tiger Cats. Jeremiah Mazzoli. Very vivid in my mind, as you can tell. We were up 31-3 at half. Game over, bro.
Yeah, that is
game over. 31-3 at half. Half of our team was outside of the locker room at halftime videotaping the Flow Rider concert, vibing. We're talking where we're partying after, because, man, again, those afternoon games, you get the whole day after the party. 31-3 at half. Came out in the second half, Mazzoli, touchdown. I don't remember the exact score. If you can look it up, Deck, for me.
Yeah, let me see.
I think we lost, I want to say 34-31. I think they came back.
Got shut out in the second.
Shut out in the second, and they came back. I want to say 34-31.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
2016 against Hamilton.
Page is loading right now. I'm gonna.
And we just couldn't stop them. Second half, they were just rolling, and we couldn't do a damn thing. They came back and beat us after being up 31-3. It was crazy, man. Crazy.
Think you just took the foot off the gas?
Took the foot off the gas, and we just couldn't.
Head was out of it by that time. Couldn't get back into it.
Back on the bike. We really couldn't. It was crazy. Never been a part of anything like that. Such a big lead like that gone.
This was 2016?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been 2016 against Hamilton.
2016 against Hamilton.
I used to work the tailgates way back when, and I was on the field for the Milt Steele.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that was crazy.
I'm telling you, man, that the end of the game was the last play, run the blitz for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And just bombs it out. I don't think I've seen that building lose air like that ever.
Yeah.
That was
I remember that
was a tough one to watch as a fan. I'll tell you that.
Corroborate my story now. Don't tell me that.
Well,
I've been knocked in the head
I'm
too
looking
many
here.
times.
Okay, so hold on. So you got one game here against Hamilton. You got one game here against Hamilton in Hamilton, week 19. You win 29-26. That was in October. You have another.
This would have been a summer game because Hamilton had to have come to Edmonton.
You had
July 23rd, 2016.
Yeah, but so I saw that one, but
What's the score?
Edmonton won 37-31.
No.
Unless CFL.ca is doing
Man,
me dirty here.
I swear I thought we lost. Pull up that one. Maybe we did end up winning and they came back.
You got close and it was certain that you guys let them back.
This one, I'm pulling it up on Game Tracker.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I thought we lost.
There's currently no data available in the feed.
I swear I thought we lost.
It could have been a different year.
No, I swear I thought we lost.
That's a flow rider game. That's a Hamilton. Like
that was it, eh?
I think so. I mean,
maybe I swear I thought we lost. Maybe it was just they came back and we're like, fellas, what the hell?
And you were able to pull it out late.
But I thought we lost it, man. Oh, I'm tripping.
I'm doing my research here. Hey, while I do this, do you guys have a little hot seat of the week?
O-line play. I think that's going to be the focal point.
Yeah, you've got players there that can do the job, and when you have a game like we had last game, I think they have to look themselves in the mirror. Yeah. And like you said, you have an opportunity to come back and do something, and they're all professionals. They're all hungry. They're all going to want to do it. So I anticipate seeing them come out a little more physical, a little more aggressive.
What you got?
Well, really quickly, while I'm looking at the 2017 schedule, in week 6, Hamilton lost to Calgary 60-1.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Remember that game?
I do.
That is crazy.
I was in Saskatchewan at that point.
Yeah.
I thought for sure we lost, but there's a lot of games, and there's a lot of ball of.
Listen, Flow Rider was playing.
Yeah,
like who? Come on, it was a party. It was a party.
All I remember is we were up huge, and just Jeremiah Mazzoli couldn't be stopped in the second half. So if we did pull it out, that's sweet. But I swear I thought we lost. But hey, I'm probably wrong. Definitely not the first time.
Take a win anywhere you can get it.
Hey,
even 9 years later.
Right.
All right. Yeah, the workout's gonna be a little bit better today. Knowing that news, like it's just
he's up on himself a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, my hot seat of the week. I am going to give it to. I didn't even have one prepared. I'm going to give it to Brett Boyko and Gregor McKellar as a duo. Like you guys got to be so much better than you were last week. Like you weren't getting hands on Malik. Like you were getting run over,
punch in air.
Yeah, like it wasn't even close.
Punch in air.
So and like
the heat's going to be on them.
Yes,
for sure.
Which is
there's going to be a microscope on them.
Yes. So they are easily my hot seat of the week, especially knowing that, I can't imagine. I would love to be a fly on the wall for film this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, as a defensive lineman, I would love watching that film because I'd be salivating.
Oh my goodness!
Just seeing how they got beat too. It's not like they were just getting beat on the twist games and stuff. They're getting beaten one-on-ones. They had no push in the run game. The twists were chewing them up. Their awareness was just not there. You could see they weren't communicating with each other. So these defensive linemen are going to be game planning on taking advantage of those two. So they're going to have to come correct this week.
One other thing, I guess, before we wrap up here, how much of a kind of like we talk about in the NHL, a D pairing has kind of like a bond, like they have like a kind of unspoken connection, and like that's your partner out there. Like how much of that do the tackle and the guard have?
It's tight, man. Yeah. You got to be tight, but it all boils down to communication, right? In life, like how many mistakes do we see on the ice with just lack of communication, thinking that a guy's going to be somewhere he's not there? No different in football, right? You need to be on the same page as your teammates, because as much as it's an individual battle, me against the offensive lineman, it's still my unit as the defensive line that needs to work together. And every unit is like that. You have each position for your own battle individually, but you have to work cohesively as a unit. And then a step further, you have to do it as a whole defense. So you got your D lineman to the whole D line to the whole defense working together, and it has to be symbiotic.
Do we have a blind ranking of the week to wrap this bad boy up?
I have some if you're ready for them.
Ooh, okay, you ready? Let's do it.
All right, so I'll tell you this. They are all quarterbacks from 90s on.
Okay.
Just Eskimos, just Eskimos.
Okay.
I like
All
it.
right.
This is good.
Good terminology too.
Yeah, we're gonna. I don't know where to start here. You know what? I'm gonna start off so it makes it a little bit tougher. So the first one I got, Jason Moss.
I'm gonna put him.
I'm gonna go all 90s and beyond, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go 3.
I was gonna go 3 as well. I almost went 2 though, but I'm gonna go 3.
Maybe high.
Michael Riley.
2.
Yeah, 2.
On this sense, Trevor Harris. And this is our Trevor Harris. This is not Trevor Harris on either end of it because he's looked a lot better when he's not been playing here. So I don't really know what happened there, but we're talking just Trevor Harris here.
I'll put him 5.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Nealon Green.
Oh, another SAS guy.
Yeah, I like.
He's got to go.
Visor. He'll be 4.
He's got to go 4. Can't put up 1.
Number 1 has to be.
I'm going Damon Allen there.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I
okay.
brought up.
Yeah, if you and I thought you were going to drop the Ricky.
I thought about it too, and I was like, that one's almost too easy. I was looking for guys that have been a while, and then
Damon for sure.
Yeah, then like the Moz thing, I didn't know where he's going to go. So you guys all went 100% exactly the same. I'll have to try a little harder next week to get the mind going.
Great minds think alike, baby.
That was a good one though.
Speaking of Ricky Ray though, just what a legend, man.
Oh, one
2
of the
Grey
best
Cups
ever.
with 2 different organizations. Essentially had 2 amazing careers with 2 different organizations.
Also chose not to hold the clipboard out of the Jets, right? He went and played a season of the Jets, just holding the clipboard, doing nothing. Said, you know what, this ain't no fun. I want to go back and play.
I want to sling that pill.
Yeah.
One of the best to ever do it.
Ever.
5,600 yards in a season is pretty crazy.
So you're sure we won that game against Hamilton?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. That July 23rd game, 37-31.
So
I'll never
came
forget
back.
it now.
So they must have, what happened is, I'm assuming they came back because we were up.
Tied it.
And then we figured out how to get it by late. But yeah, it was crazy. I just remember like Mazzoli just throwing touchdowns in the momentum. Like it was such a momentum, so thick that you could feel it. It's like, what is going on here, fellas? How do we stop this?
We got to get someone else who played in that game to corroborate.
Yeah, we do. We do.
You got to hit up some of the old
I got
teammates.
plenty of boys we could touch base with.
We got to get Jeremiah on here, and he can.
But I swear I thought we lost. Going crazy now. Oh well.
Man, I'm just looking at Ricky Ray's numbers. Bro.
Went for 20,000 with 2 different organizations.
Incredible.
4 5,000-yard seasons, 3 5,500-yard seasons. I can't even count.
What's his overall passing stats?
60,736 yards.
Does it? Can you see the breakdown between the 2 organizations?
I don't have it here, but I'm sure I can pull it up. Hold on.
I think he only went for 20 with Toronto and the majority with Edmonton.
Actually, let me see. I could probably.
That would make sense. I mean, he played the majority of his time here, right?
Yeah.
What a terrible trade that was.
Yeah, it's like just over. Yeah, it's like 21-ish, I think, with Toronto, and then the rest with like 39 with Edmonton or something. Yeah, one of the best to ever do it. You guys got anything to add before we get out of here?
No, I'm just looking forward to the game on Saturday.
Me too.
Yeah, and without looking too far down the road, just the way everything's playing out, these Labor Day games against Calgary,
massive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I
take
guess,
care of business this week, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
100%. Okay. I guess we'll talk next Sunday, breaking down that one, and then back Monday again. So, yeah, Elks Central next Sunday, Elks 101 next Monday. It's been a good one. Been a lot of fun. We'll wrap it up. Thank you, guys, and we will talk to everyone else soon.